All right, let's do this. Let's see if we are alive. I got faith that the first time is going to be the only time we need. Are we alive? Are we out there? Are we ready to rock and roll? Today is going to be a great day, an interesting day. I want to do something today that has never, ever been done before in the reselling space. Let's see if we are alive. We got Gene Queen first place, gold medal, MK second place, silver medal, and Greba third place, bronze medal, JG first loser. First loser on the fourth place medal, but shout out to you. Make sure you give the thumbs up. Gene Queen takes the medal today. We appreciate it. We got Eric in there. All right, guys, look, I'm going to take a humongous gamble with you guys today. I want to try to do something that has never been done before in the reseller space. There's 3 rules. I'm going to give you guys the password and Zoom room to the Zoom that I'm on. I want to hear from you guys. I want to get a pulse of the people. Why are so many people that started reselling 4 or 5 years ago going bust? Why are they going out of business? What's going on? That is the topic that I want to stick to today. I'm going to give the Zoom room, going to give the password to you guys. Here's the ground rules. Don't act a fool. No cussing. Don't smut up my channel. No cussing. No TVs on in the background. No music on. Be professional. Be positive. That's what we are here for. I don't know who's going to come on. So I am by no means co-signing anybody. I'm not co-signing nobody. If a scammer comes on, I don't know. If they have a past transgression, I don't know. I'm not co-signing nobody. I'm getting a pulse of the community. Let me repeat. If they're a scammer, I don't know. I'm getting a pulse of the community. If they have past transgressions, I don't know. I'm just getting a pulse of the community. So we're going to live vicariously. We're going to live risky. And we're going to get a pulse of the community today, tonight. That's what we're going to do. So I'm going to put the Zoom room and the password right up top. If you guys are interested in coming on, sharing your thoughts, remember, the internet is forever. The internet is forever. So make sure you don't come on here and act a fool. Make sure you don't come on here and act a fool. The internet is forever. I'm not co-signing nobody. I got the trigger finger on the mute button quick. I got the trigger finger on the mute button quick. I'm removing people quick. We're going in and out, in and out, in and out. We can't sit here and talk all day. We're going to go in and out, in and out, in and out. That's what we're going to do. I'm putting the Zoom room and the password on now. Putting it on now. Again, if we have past transgressions or we got scammers, I'm not co-signing nobody. I just want to get a pulse of the community. The Zoom room and password are up. I can't promise you I'm going to get to everybody, but the Zoom room is 302-048-8962. And the password is live, L-I-V-E. I'm going to let one person at a time come on. Whoever wants to come on, share your thoughts about the topic. We're going to keep it going real quick. If we only talk for 2 or 3 minutes, don't feel bad. We got to keep it going real quick, real quick, real quick. But I want to get a pulse of the community. Let's see who will get. It's only right. Gene Queen is in the queue for the waiting room. She was #1 in the chat. Let's talk with Gene Queen. Coming up live. Gene Queen, first person ever on the live. Who better to start with than you? How are you doing? Gene Queen, how are you?
Doing good. How's it going?
Good. You're the first person ever on Reseller Radio. That is going to be a quiz and a topic question one day. So the title is, why are so many people who started a couple years ago having such a hard time? Will reselling ever go back to the quote unquote good old days?
Lack of consistency.
You think lack of consistency?
100%.
Why do you say that?
Because I think they think it's like a get rich quick scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And they get in and it's not what they expected because it's not that.
It's not that's a lot of work, right? You know about a lot of work. You have a bunch of brick and mortar stores, you have an eBay store, you know all about working. So you think a lot of people jump on and they think it's going to be a get rich quick. You just list stuff on eBay and it magically sells. I'll tell you this though, right when COVID was starting, you listed something and it magically sold real quick for a lot of money.
Yeah, I think the other thing is that in the beginning, you don't sell a lot, so it seems like a big effort to take one or two packages to the post office every day. I think that's also another one. They don't do that work for little payout for too long. So they never get to that level where it is worth doing all that.
So at what level do you think it becomes worth doing? Because it's a lot of work. And we've never come on here and say this is not a lot of work. We've never come on here and said this is easy. It is a lot of work, but like at what level does it actually start to make sense?
I mean, I think when you can pay your bills or pay a major bill, like your rent, your mortgage, your car note, something like that, when you start to be able to really do something substantial.
So let me
So I
ask you
don't know,
this.
10 a day or so, something like that.
So when you started, what was your goal? Straight out the gate, pay all the bills, or out the gate, try to cover a bill or a car payment or something like that?
So when I quit my day job and like revamped the eBay store, my goal was to make up half of my corporate salary, my day job salary, because I was gonna dedicate 6 hours a day, and I was dedicating 12 hours a day before that.
Yeah. So all right. So how long did it take you to kind of eclipse that goal of half of the corporate salary?
I did it the first year, but I had the brand knowledge and the access to inventory, so it was a little bit easier for me.
So the people that come in today, you think the number one downfall to them is lack of consistency. So you go to the rags a lot. You probably see a lot of people that hit the rags and then don't go home and do the work, right? I see a lot of people who do that.
Yeah, it's like it can be a 5 day a week thing, a 7 day a week thing, but people can't keep on that grind long enough. Is why I think people will drop out.
I'm with you. I agree with you. The grind never ends. So Gene Queen, thank you for jumping on. First person, the inaugural guest on Reseller Radio, Gene Queen in the house. Thank you so much. All right, let's see who's up next. This is fun. All right, who do we got? Who do we got? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Kelby, what's happening? My main man, Kelby. If anyone knows Kelby's YouTube channel, put it in the chat. Let's get Kelby some followers up here. Kelby, what's happening, my man?
What's going on? What's going on?
You getting on the grind? What are you doing?
Always. I actually got to drive back home to Tampa here in about an hour or so, but I figured I'd jump on the live and hang out for a little bit.
All right. The question: why are so many COVID era resellers busting out?
I mean, my personal opinion, I mean, not that obviously, like you just said a minute ago, I mean, it's not easy, but I believe the COVID era was probably the easiest era when it comes to selling online. That's just my take on it. That's just my opinion. Is it factual? Who knows? But in my personal opinion, for what I've seen, reselling on and off for 10 years, I mean, that was probably the period where, that was probably the easiest in terms of time frame to sell things online because everything is closed. You're forced to shop online, which obviously, is going to give that boom in terms of the online shopping, no matter what platform that you use.
Sure. And there was stimulus money. There was money raining from the sky. Everything was closed. People were forced to shop online. Do you think people during this time maybe overextended themselves inside of the business? Maybe we're living a little bit too large. And now that things are starting to slow down, that's starting to catch up with them?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they again, being at the peak of the online resale, okay, yeah, I'm bringing all this money. This is how it's always going to be. And it's going to just continue to go up from there, which, is not the case. Reselling has highs and lows. And especially during the COVID era, you have a lot of people who are reselling for the first time during that era. So they've never seen what the lows look like. They don't really know as far as the trajectory of what happens in the business. And that I think a lot of people got caught up in that. And like how you were saying with the stimulus money, people were getting this free money thrown at them left and right, where they were able to kind of gamble more in terms of what they're able to do versus now. There's no more free money, there's no stimulus. You gotta what you make out of it is what you're gonna get. So a lot of people I think are struggling with that aspect. with the decline in online sales.
So you got started. Is it fair to say you got started in the COVID era?
Um,
Or
full
were you
time,
before?
yeah.
Were you after? What?
Yeah, it was a little bit after. It was like right after the ending of COVID in terms of doing it full time. But I've been reselling on and off for about 10 years.
So how have you, because you do very well, how have you been able to not be one of those resellers that are busting out right now?
I think it just comes down to your grit, you know, how bad you want it and, you know, how bad you want your business to succeed. Um, as far as for myself, coming from a previous sales background, I mean, sales, especially being commission based, you're going to have highs and lows. And, you know, working so many hours in the sales industry, leading up to being full time reseller, you know, I'm used to the highs and lows. I'm used to the grit. I'm used to having my back against the wall and having no other option but to look forward. So I think that definitely helped me personally a lot. And I know, like how you always say, reselling isn't for everyone and it's not easy. It's very clear to see. I mean, looking at from my perspective, it's kind of hard seeing why so many people fall off. When you really look at it in the outside point of view, you know, it's hard. You know, there's
Yeah, it's
sometimes
hard.
those lows can be way too low for a lot of people who can't handle it emotionally, physically, mentally. I mean, it can become a lot, especially when sales aren't looking the way you need it to.
I heard a quote over the weekend. I like to let my computer downstairs just play some stuff, and the algorithm kind of shows you what you want to hear. So like a lot of like business stuff comes up and things like this. And I was upstairs. I heard a quote that said, "Stay small enough, long enough, and you'll be big enough soon enough." And I think like that is like a testament to not overextend yourself. Like when things are going good, stay small, keep your warehouse tight, keep your expenses down, keep your costs and spending under control. Cause like you said, when the money starts rolling in, it's real easy for the money to start rolling out. Maybe we get a larger warehouse, maybe we get a fancier car, maybe we start going out to dinner a little bit more. And if you could just be underneath your means as a business, and everyone has seen my warehouse. You went over there personally, and my favorite comment ever that has ever been posted on my YouTube channel is, it's absolutely amazing that the number one pre-owned men's clothing seller's entire business is built on plastic tubing, cardboard, and tape. And that's what it was built out of. Like there was nothing fancy. It was just the necessities and letting the money stack up on top of that. Like could I have had robots and state of the art and all of this kind of stuff? Absolutely. But like that's when you get overextended and that's when you bust out.
Yeah, I mean, and the problem with a lot of people, they want to look successful. They want to have all the newest things and
Mm.
best racks and biggest space. But you know, what is that? That's for show. You know, you rather have what's the thing? You rather have a $20 purse with 20 grand in it than a 20 grand purse with 20 bucks in it or whatever it
Oh,
is.
I love it. That's great.
So
Yeah.
it's yeah, a lot of people kind of get stuck in the mentality. Of course, it's nice to show you have something big and nice and grand, but what comes down at the end of the day is how much money do you have in your pocket. That's what really matters.
That's it. Hey, give your channel out there for the folks that don't know. I appreciate you jumping on with us, Kelby.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it's Collection Closet on all handles, Instagram, YouTube. Go hit that subscribe button.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Shout out to you. We'll see you soon. Sometimes I run into Kelby up when I go to Orlando and he's out there getting it in. He's one of the only ones who I always see out there. So shout out to you, my man.
Appreciate it, Tech.
Thank you. Be safe. Thank you.
Peace.
All right, there we go. We got Kelby on. Again, if you guys want to come on, you want to come on to chat, you want to come on and talk, it's going to tell you that you are in the waiting room, but I got to get to everyone one at a time. The room is 302-048-8962. 302-048-8962. Password is live, LIVE. Couple of rules. People that come on, I don't know who they are most of the time. If they have a past transgression, if they're a scammer, I don't know them. It's going to be random people coming on, not co-signing anybody. No cussing, no music playing, no TVs on in the background. His information was Collections Closet. He's on Whatnot. He's on Instagram. He's got a YouTube channel. I run into him at the flea market pretty often. All right, let's go to George E. George E, what's happening, my man? We let him connect to the audio. George E, how you doing? George E.
Hello.
Hey, what's happening?
Hi, mate. You're right.
You all right, mate? Where are you from?
Yeah,
You from UK?
I'm from the UK. Yeah.
All right. What do you think? Why are so many COVID era resellers busting out?
I think the like consistency for one. I did agree with Gene Queen, but also I've been hearing a lot of people saying, "Oh, where do you go to get your stock?" And it's like they're not willing to do the research themselves. They like to be not spoon fed, but they like the quick and easy way to get the answers, and it's hard. You've got to do the research yourself. Product research is like one of the main things of this job, and yeah, I feel like a lot of people like to be given the answers instead of trying to discover it for themselves. And yeah, and another thing I thought is that it's kind of lonely. This job is kind of solitary what we do, and I think a lot of people aren't used to that. You were stuck in COVID; they were stuck inside, so they've always, your interactions were very limited anyway. But even now, that I think they probably thought, oh, it's going to get better. I can go out, I can do X, Y, Z, and it's still kind of solitary. But yeah, and one that I had to this week is someone saying, "Oh well, what about niches? What would you do? Which specific niche would you like change if you could? If you go full into?" And I don't. I'm a bit of an everything reseller, but I'm focusing on clothing. But yeah, I think pivoting to new niches. I think it's just a. I don't know. I think people are like they can get stuck in one niche and not recognize like, oh, there's other things as well that could, you know, boost your interest in reselling, and they lose it a little bit and they kind of get stuck in a rut. Yeah, that's what I think.
Is this Georgie?
Yeah.
Oh, it says George E, not Georgie. Okay, I was confused. Okay, I know who you are. All right, good. Hey,
Yeah.
George, give us a pulse on the UK community, the whole Vinted thing. Look, this might be controversial. When business sellers could not sell on Vinted, they all said, once I sell on Vinted, I'm going to make so much money, this and that. Now business sellers can sell on Vinted. Has any business eBay seller jumped to Vinted and put a down payment on the Bugatti yet? They've been able to sell on Vinted for 2 weeks now, Georgie. That was supposed to be the answer to everyone's prayers.
Yeah. I know a lot of people, everybody was like, oh, when Vinted comes along, it's going to be a game changer.
That's it.
And they fudged but did you hear all the whole drama about it? They fudged the opening of Vinted Pro. And then eBay came along, it's like Uno reverse card and just said, you know what, we'll just give business sellers free clothing until the end of the year. It was brilliant. So yeah, I think everybody now I think the majority of people are cross-listing, but I tell you, the traffic on Vinted is insane.
Yeah.
I've sold more on there than I did on eBay for the past probably 2-3 days.
And
so
is
it's
the money
getting
the same color green?
Is what?
Is the money the same color green? It's the same kind of money, right? It doesn't matter where we get it.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same. And it's like before like eBay, they're charging those fees to business sellers, but now it's like it doesn't matter because it's like across the board. All the selling platforms have gone this route. And so now it's like, quick, put as much on as you can. So now it's like a race. And I tell you, I feel really optimistic about Q4, particularly in the UK anyway.
Nice. Great to hear from you, Georgie.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks for jumping on. Thank you. We're going to do this more often. Maybe we could chat a little more in the coming weeks. Thanks, Georgie.
Yep.
Very good. All right. You heard from Georgie from the UK. All right. We got a few people in the queue. Oh, here's a familiar face. Familiar face in the queue. Carrie, how are you?
Sorry, I'm on my phone.
Hey, we take it. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing all right. This is either going to be a disaster or go great. So far, it's going great.
Yeah, I was able to tune in a little bit on it, and it sounds great. I love what everybody's been talking about. It's actually sparked up a good idea that I want to talk about of like why I feel like people are leaving the reselling game is because I've seen a lot of people have this pressure to scale their business way prematurely than they're ready to. And they didn't create like a strong foundation and have like their fundamental, this is my profit margin, this is what I pick up, this is what I do day in, day out. It's proven. They just say, oh, if I just have a 2,000 item store, I'll be rich. and then they just
Right.
start throwing stuff up.
Right. That doesn't work. 2,000
No,
pieces of garbage doesn't work.
no, it doesn't. So if they go slow and they build their store with a strong foundation and then grow it and then scale it, you'll have way more success than just going from start to scale.
Yeah, absolutely. And the start to scale mentality is always trying to scale into profitability. And I've talked to thousands and thousands of people who have been resellers. I have never one time seen somebody scale to profitability.
Yeah, it's kind of like you do one good thing over and over and over and you'll find
Yes.
success. You do one bad thing over and over and over, it's not going to turn out good.
It doesn't work out as good when you do bad stuff over and over and over. So is it fair to say that you got started during the COVID time?
Not in the thick of it, like 2020 lockdown, but I did start in the beginning of 2021. So
That's
the
okay.
stimulus
There was
checks were
still money
still
raining
there.
from the sky at this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Okay,
for sure.
so you started in the money raining from the sky era. How have you been able to build the business, stick the business, and not bust out?
Yeah, I've been growing year over year instead of declining, because it's literally like learning, maybe not every single day, but every other day, learning how I could better improve my store, my profit margin, saving $1 here on shipping supplies, like strategizing how to make the most money and find more better items than before, because I would go through my items that were on like my markdown sale and I would study, be like, why are these not selling?
That's
And
right.
then I would see, oh, people really don't actually want this stuff, but
Right.
they really want this stuff. So I
Right.
went out and found more of that stuff that they wanted. So, and then I learned new brands and everything that people want. And it's just always this forward progression, never, never slow down, never look back, always move forward and keep growing and getting better mentality. And I see it in the numbers year over year.
I love it. What you said exactly right. You know, when we have our aged inventory markdown strategy, the items that were hot yesterday might not be hot today. And those items will gradually fall into our most aggressive markdown that is in line with our oldest items on the platform. So, like, you know, once upon a time, before your time, Robert Graham was popping. You can list any Robert Graham and sell for $100. Now, if you're still buying Robert Graham and paying up for it and expecting those same prices, those items are going to sit on eBay for so long, never sell, make it to your most aggressive markdown. And if you're out here still buying as if it's a bolo, that's a mistake. So like we always have to like continuously keep an eye on our inventory and call out that bottom 10%, call out that bottom 15%, call out that bottom 20%, and then replace that with the new items that are coming on to the scene, things like this. So like for like golf brands, like, you know, once upon a time, the cotton Peter Millar shirt didn't matter. You could list it sell for $30. Now cotton Peter Millar shirts don't sell, but now they have Holderness and Barnes. Now they have G4. So like as these brands get less in favor, you have to replace them with the ones that are in favor and keep continuously turning your inventory, going with the hot hand. Because if you're still sourcing as if it's 2022, 2020, 2018, it's not going to work.
I find a lot of people want a BOLO list, kind of like what George was saying. I believe it was George saying like they just want somebody to tell them what to buy. And I'm like, I'll have people ask like, hey, what should I pick up? I'm like, what I pick up may bankrupt you. Like you should know how to find stuff that works for you. That'll take you way further than what I'm buying in 2024 currently.
That's right.
So it's just like basically teaching a man how to fish instead of giving him fish.
That's right. And what I find here in South Florida, Carrie, you're never going to find. What you find in St. Louis or in Maine or California or Oregon, we are all going to find different kinds of things, and we need to be experts inside of our area.
I can't tell you the amount of jeans brands, because I sell jeans for people who don't know. I sell primarily jeans. People will be showing me these brands that are apparently worth good money, but I have never seen them in my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, good for you. Like I've never seen it before.
Yeah. When I went to New York City, they had so many brands that I didn't have that sold for great money that I'll never see again. And that's just the way it goes. And that's why like we have to look in our area, do the zip code call like we have in the group, learn about the brands that we can easily accessibly find in our area that we can make a profit on, not what everybody else is picking up everywhere. Because like if I go to Maine and try to pick up all the athleisure brands that I'm able to find down here, I'm going to go bankrupt. And same like them. If they're in Maine, Freeport, Maine, and like they have access to LL Bean at a tremendously cheap price, you come down here, like I don't get LL Bean at the same clip. So yeah, I agree 100% with what you're saying. So any final words, Carrie?
No, I really enjoy this concept. I like hearing everybody's opinions. I feel like it's more vocal, like you actually get to hear what people are saying versus just in the chat. So really like it.
And the chat lit up. They a lot of your subscribers are in the chat, and they put your
hi guys.
they put your page in there. So you got a lot of people that love your content, and I appreciate you so much, Carrie. You know that.
Yeah. All right. Have a fun time.
Thanks, Carrie.
Bye-bye.
All right, very good. So far, we are doing okay. We're still alive. We're not canceled yet. We got a couple more people in the chat. If you guys do want to come on, share your thoughts. I want to get a pulse of the community. The Zoom room is 302-048-8962. Password is live. 302-048-8962. Password is live, L-I-V-E. Remember, past transgressions, scammers, guys who are not good, I'm not co-signing anybody. I don't know the next guy that's going to come on. I don't know anything. No cussing, keep it professional. No music, no TV. All right, next up, we have Daniel Mills. Next up on the line, Daniel Mills. Daniel, what's up? I know you from Instagram. Audio's connected. You should be up. You're muted. There you go. I know you from Instagram. What's happening? Still muted. Your microphone must be off. Try now. Nope, still muted. All right, come back, try again. Very good. All right. Here we go. Here we go. My main man, Isaiah, what's happening? Yo, what's happening? Unmute.
I'm glad I was able to like pop home just in time, dude. What's going on?
Shout out to you, man. How you doing?
I'm out here just trying our best. You know what I mean? You know,
I see you buttoned up professional for the show. I appreciate that.
No. This is just my jacket I was wearing outside. I just got back in for a second, you know.
All right. So the question, why are so many COVID era resellers quitting? Why are they busting out?
See, I didn't get to hear anything before this. I literally just got back in. But I think I don't know. I feel like reselling is a bit more difficult than it was previously. It seems like most things are going up. So the amount of, I don't know, bro. I think it might be a foundational thing too, if that makes sense. Like if you came into a world of reselling where you could make a bunch of mistakes, especially with the products you're picking up, like you could just list, and you know, you've seen these sets of stores that would come in, list a bunch of stuff, and then, you know, try to sell 10% of their gigantic stores, and it just doesn't end up working. It requires too much, you know, overhead. You have to bring on employees and stuff like that, and eventually you just end up busting out before you can get to where you want to be. And I just feel like you need to be making a certain amount of overall sales before you can truly be able to like live off of this. And I think a lot of people bust out before they even get to that point.
So for you, you've been able to build a business in the COVID era. Is it fair to say that you jumped on when there was money raining from the sky?
I started October 2020, October 1st, 2020.
Oh, money. There was a blizzard outside of money.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there was a blizzard outside of money. You've been able to build your business where you've been able to take care of your family, pay your bills. Your wife stays home with your young daughters. You've been able to build this business where you're paying your bills. What is the hardest part of getting to that point? Because there's probably a lot of people in the chat that want to get to that point first. And the second point with which you're trying to get over this next hurdle is have that excess capital where you can build the business and maybe make some investments down the line. But you know, you're a young guy, you're taking care of your family, your bills are paid. What's the hardest part about getting to that point first?
first you kind of got to get everything set up. You know what I mean? When I started in reselling, it's probably a little bit easier now, but when I started in reselling, there wasn't really a clean way for how you should do shoes. It wasn't like, see, with people who are starting in clothing, they can like just look at your first video and go, boom, do all of that and just follow that exactly. When I first got into the game, it was a little bit different. So you have to like figure out what's going to work for you. I think that's the big thing, like figuring out what's going to work for you and then being able to replicate it without changing too much. I think we live in a world of reselling where every single, month, every single quarter, there's this kind of like flavor of the time where you might see that and go, ooh, like I should go switch to doing that. And I think that's probably been one of the biggest weaknesses of my personal business. There's been so many times where I will hear something on YouTube, hear something somewhere and go, I should adjust my business because of that. And that has like backfired for me more times than I can count. And I just think being able to create, I don't know, momentum from figuring out what works for you and continuing to do that and then do more of that and more of that. I think that's going to result in a better long-term thing. So it's mostly figuring out what that thing is first and then trying to like sell similar off of that, for lack of a better term.
So let me ask you this. I've listened to every single call in the group for the last 5, 6, 7 years.
Mhm.
I've listened to every single idea for the last 5, 6, 7 years.
Mhm.
I've listened to every single flavor of the month for the 5, 6, 7 years. I've said no thank you to all of them. I've been steadfast on my mission and moved forward. How do resellers, business owners, gain the confidence in what I'm doing is the correct thing for me, and I don't have to have a new first day every day as I start the brand new flavor of the month that we hear about?
I got something to say about that. Like,
Please, don't hold back. This is your time to shine, my man.
I think the reason why you haven't changed at all over this significant period of time is because your stuff works. Does that make sense? Like what you're doing.
How do we know it works?
I think your stuff works because maybe because your bank account goes up, you're seeing success, your success is replicated by other people as well. Like I can do your exact business model and I will make a bunch of money too. You know what I mean? So you're
So why
able
don't you do that? Keep going.
so your stuff works. However, a lot of the times we will create our version of what you do or our version of how we want to run our eBay business, and it doesn't work as well. And then you hear someone that's a bit more successful than you say, hey, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, whatever it is. And you go, well, maybe that's a faster path to Rome than the path that I'm on. And I think that's why it's so easy for you to continue doing what you're doing because your stuff works. And I'm hard pressed to think of anyone who has presented a business model superior to yours. Because if it did exist, maybe you would do it, more reliable, least defects, so on and so forth. And for me, it's like, okay, the way that I'm selling shoes is cool, but if I do it this way, I might be able to get a little bit more profit per item. I might be able to get, a faster sell through rate. And then that would allow me to truly hit that next level. I think that's kind of what happens on my end, where on your end, you might not experience that as much.
Is it a little bit of looking for a shortcut? Is it a little bit of looking for better results more quicker? Why do we jump ship every single chance that we could get?
More number two. I don't know if it's because if you were to ask anyone who has done that many times, like, are you looking for a shortcut? They wouldn't say those specific words. The connotation is too strong. You know what I mean? But are they looking to get to where they want to go faster? Probably. And they see that as a path to get them there faster. That's why I keep like hopping in the clothing. You know what I mean? But like you can build a beautiful business selling shoes. You can make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month selling shoes.
We've seen people.
Yeah. So like it's not that clothing is better than shoes. And it for what I'm looking for. If I want to make $30,000 a month in sales, like you can do that in shoes. You can do that in, media or whatever the niche is. It's just that I could be on my path. It's taking me a little too long. I have bills coming up. I have this, that, and the other. And then I look over on your side of the fence and go, I mean, look what Tech's doing. Maybe I should go do that. You know what I mean? Instead of just continuing to do what I'm already doing.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on, and thank you for sharing your thoughts. And you know how much I care about you, my man. So thank you.
I appreciate it.
You got any final words for the people out there?
No, I think I'm glad you're doing this. This is really fun.
This is fun. So far, so good.
Yeah,
But we got 4 more names in the waiting room that I'm unsure about. So this goes sideways real quick.
yeah, I'm for it. So I don't know. I think the best thing to do when it comes to building this business is just being super, super disciplined and understanding that this business is a product business. And I think that's where I have fallen off many times, and maybe other people fall off there too. They forget that the most important thing to our success is the products that we choose, and the better our products, that can solve all the other issues. You don't need to have the best photos in the world. You don't need to have the fastest processes. I've met people who have stronger products than me but are slower than me at every single process and choose, and they still make more money than I do because they only have excellent products. So I think if we can build businesses with stronger and stronger products and do the research and stuff in order to get there, to know what those items are, I think that ends up having the best results long term.
And that's what we've been talking about the past 2 days of the morning call is our buying decisions, product selection, and you're absolutely right. And that was so eloquently put, is what I've been trying to say for the last 10 years. Is just the product reigns supreme. If you put garbage in your store, you're going to get garbage results. If you put cheap items in your store, you're going to get cheap sales. So we must, we have to have an obligation to our business to do our homework, do our research, go as far as we need to go to the end of the earth to get the absolute best products that we can get, put them online. And guess what happens when you do that, Isaiah? Everything else is so much easier.
100%.
When you don't got to put lipstick on a pig and the item can sell itself, it's so much easier, bro.
100%. I agree with you fully. Thank you for having me on, bro.
Be great, Isaiah.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. All right. Very good. Shout out, Isaiah. And if you guys want to come on, topic is, why are so many COVID area resellers quitting? The Zoom room is 302-048-8962. Password is live, LIVE, all lowercase, 302-048-8962. No cussing, be professional, no music, no TV. And I'm not co-signing nobody. These are random people coming on. So if a scammer comes on or someone that has a lot of transgressions, I'm just trying to get a pulse of the community. Let's go with Jeannie. Jeannie up next. Jeannie, how are you, Jeannie?
I'm good. How are you?
Is this Jeannie? Jeannie?
Yes, it is.
Whoa, I haven't heard from you in like a year. What's happening?
Oh, everything, everything that could possibly happen has happened in my life. Yeah. So,
well, I hope everything is going well, though.
it's okay. It's going better. It's going good. So,
yeah. All right. So the question is, why are so many COVID era resellers quitting and busting out?
I think so. I didn't start during COVID, right? I started in very, very beginning of 2022, kind of like Carrie, I think. And when I started trying to do clothes, and that just wasn't me. And it's still not me. Like, look behind me. This is what I should be doing, right?
Yes.
And I think when Isaiah said just a second ago about the product, it's really, that is, I think, the biggest thing. And if you don't have a desire to learn about whatever category you've decided to be in, and you have to ask someone like, well, what should I be focusing on? Okay, if you have to ask like once or twice, cool. They can give you a starting place, cool. But you need to know how to find out the information on the products that you want to sell. And if you don't have a desire to do that, if you're constantly having to ask someone, hey, what do I need to do? That's going to cause a problem. That's not going to, if you don't have that desire, like to find out yourself, you're not going to have the desire to stay in the business because it's not easy. Right? It's just not. Finding stuff, interacting with your customers is not easy. And recently, one of the things that we did in our store that actually kind of like was a bad experiment, but it was like a good experiment, was, we sell toys, mostly dolls, right? And in our store, we are in one category that has like 10 subcategories, and of those 10 subcategories, we're in 2. And we decided to focus unintentionally kind of got focused on one category and not the other category. And when we did that, we started to see sales falling. Like, well, why are we selling so much stuff? Like, what's going on here?
Very common. Very common.
Right.
This.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't necessarily because we were listing more in the other subcategory. It was that the people that we were selling to our repeat customers weren't coming back because they weren't buying that same stuff.
Right.
You know, they wanted us to provide one thing and we weren't providing that to them. They didn't have those products that we were trying to sell. And so they weren't buying from us. And I was like, after 2 months, I was like, what in the world? I'm looking at the data that eBay has available in the performance tab. And I was like, hey, dummy, you're not listing your main thing where your main seller is. Why did you switch? That was dumb. Like, you still need to offer this other subcategory, but you need to focus on the category that makes you the most money.
Sure.
And that's what we did. And it was like literally within a week when we went back to listing more of those items, we had a major increase, probably 20% sales increase just within a week. And we had those items. We just had tried to focus a little bit on a different in that other subcategory. We still try to sell in that other subcategory. We still list the same amount of stuff. We're just listing more of the more profitable items or faster selling items. So we're doing better. But I think some people don't want to take the time to look at the data that is available on whatever platform they're on. You know, with eBay and that priority, the priority campaigns they have now, if you actually go in there and you do some searching on that, you can see what the sorry, my dog's coughing. You can see what the top search terms are, right?
That's right.
And so if you start looking at what the top search terms are in that category, you can go, oh, this is what I need to focus on.
That's right.
This is what's working for me.
That's
and or this is what's working on eBay, period. You have to take advantage of the data that's available. And you also need to want to do that. This is a business. And if some people forget that a business is always a business, it's not necessarily about what you want or what you don't want. It's about, hey, I need to make money. And let me pay attention to what I have. Let me take advantage of all the tools that I have and improve my business and keep working on that. You know, my husband is now full-time. That's all. This is all he does is eBay. Nice. So, you know, yeah, we have not good months and we have better months, but it is what it is, right? So we have to make it work. So that's why we have to take advantage of everything we have. And like, I think Carrie was very, very, very eloquent when she was talking about, you know, save $1 on shipping supplies, cut costs everywhere you can, and increase your profits or revenue everywhere you can. That was a very, very valid point. I think that some people, because it was so easy when they started during COVID, they've never really had to struggle. And now they're really having to struggle. And, you know, when you really have to struggle, it's not easy anymore. You're going to quit. That's if you don't have the fight or you don't have the willingness or desire to fight and make yourself successful, you're going to quit because you have to find something else to make yourself, you know, to allow yourself to live. And that's just the way it goes. That's kind of why I think people are quitting. You know, yeah, I'm in the group and I kind of pay attention more to the Facebook side rather than joining in on the lives because I just don't really have the time right now to do lives or listen to the different calls. But when I see the stuff that people are posting, I'm just like, okay, guys, like, listen. And luckily someone else will pop in, will say something that I would say that maybe I wouldn't answer it as nicely. So I really appreciate that. But I do like to read everything in the group to see what people are struggling with. And sometimes if I have something that I'm not being successful at, or I need some help with, or I see a problem that I'm dealing with, even just searching the group, I will find people who are experiencing the same thing. And someone who has been selling longer than I have will have come back and said something. I'm like, oh yeah, duh, you've heard tech say that. It's just, I needed someone to reinforce it. And I really do think it's just because it's not easy right now. I think it's going to get better. And I know you keep hearing people tell us, or you keep seeing these horrible things online about how reselling is in the downturn and it's awful and it's not going to get better. We peaked or whatever. I don't think that's true. I just don't think that's true. I think there's still a market there. There's still customers that want to buy stuff. We just have to figure out a way to get them to buy our stuff. And we have to take advantage of the tools that we have.
That's it. Very well put. Nice to see you, Jeannie.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeannie. Very good. Jeannie on the line. I'll tell you this. Jeannie is an absolute stone cold Barbie expert. She did a call one day about Barbie. It was about 2 hours long. There was maybe one fact every 1 second. Jeannie is a beast. When it comes, an absolute beast. All right. If you want to jump on with us, remember 302-048-8962, password live, LIVE, 302-048-8962. Let's give Daniel another go. Daniel, another go. Let's see if he's up. Daniel.
Hello.
Yo, we got you. How you doing?
Doing great, man. I love what you're doing. This is awesome.
Thank you. Having fun. So far, so good. We haven't had anyone ruin it yet, but if we can get a pulse of the community and talk to people, this would be great. So the question of the day, why are so many COVID era resellers busting out?
So I'm pretty new to the whole game. I've only been reselling about a year. It's a side hustle for me right now. But from what I can tell, it seems like it was easy during that time. Everybody talks about it being like it was just like printing money. And now I think maybe some of those bad habits that were covered up by the fact that they were just making so much money hand over fist. When you're not making money hand over fist, the bad habits kill you, which I'm kind of doing right now. My bad habits are crushing me,
Like
which
what?
leads into, well, like I have a death pile. I've done the thing where I still shop, even though I've got a death pile, still sourcing, things like that. So I think those kinds of things, what I've got going for me is that I'm still active duty military. I'm still getting a paycheck. So I'm able to make those mistakes and it doesn't crush me. But soon I'll be out of the military, so I got to stop making mistakes. But it kind of leads into like a resiliency thing. I think people aren't willing to make mistakes, and the first couple of hurdles they hit, they kind of give up. And there's like, you got to be willing to make mistakes. If there's anything I learned in 23 years in Navy, I've made so many mistakes and failed at so many things, but you got to get back and get back at it, or you'll never succeed. And it seems like people just like, oh, well, there's a wall. I don't want to do it anymore. There's a lot of, I don't know. That's my take on it. As a new reseller who hasn't been at it very long, it just seems like people give up too easy.
Well, first and foremost, everyone in the chat, without all 404 people in the chat, give Daniel a shout out for 23 years in the military. Shout out to you. Thank you for your service. But what
Thank you, brother.
What you said, and all 408 people better give Daniel a shout out. So what you said is that when the money is not raining from the sky anymore, the mistakes really come back and bite you, and that is 100% true. When we have so much money coming, we can make so many mistakes, but now where the money is getting a little bit tighter, you said it, your mistakes start to get exposed more and more and more.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm seeing it right now. Just I had my spike after Q4 last year, and then I got into the summer and saw everything drop and really exposed all the things I was doing wrong. So just lucky enough to be in a situation where I can come back from that.
All right, very good. Shout out. Thank you, Daniel. I
Appreciate you, brother.
Finally good to talk to you. We talked on Instagram for a few years now, huh?
Actually, I'm not on Instagram. There might be another Daniel Mills out there.
You are. I recognize that mustache anywhere. Oh, no, you're in the comments of YouTube all the time. That's right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're always in the comments of the YouTube. That's my bad.
Yeah. No, you're good, brother. I appreciate you.
Thanks, man. Good hearing from you finally. This is great.
Good talking.
All right, Daniel from the YouTube comments. He's always in the comments dropping a nice comment for the algorithm. Thank you to him. All right, so if you want to participate, we're getting a pulse of the community today. 302-048-8962 is the Zoom room. 302-048-8962. Password is live, LIVE, all lowercase. No cussing, no music, no TV on. Professional. All right, next one on the line, Junk in the Trunk Incorporated. Junk in the Trunk Incorporated. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the show. Junk in the Trunk.
How are you?
Hey.
Thanks so much for having me on.
How are you? How are you? How long have you been selling for?
I've been selling for about 15 years now, actually.
Okay, so you were before the money raining from the sky. So you've seen before, during, and kind of after. So give us your read on, I guess, the 15 years since you've been doing this, because if you've been doing it for 15 years, you've had to do a lot of pivoting, a lot of changing with the times, so on and so forth.
Absolutely. The main thing is you have to pivot. You can't expect like you're on a roller coaster where it's going to continue to go up, 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 up. That's not going to happen. it's going to be ups and downs. Like, in 2008, the housing market crashed, everything crashed, everybody sold their house, and then the industry was flooded with merchandise. So the prices went down. So there's these cycles that people have to realize that things are going to be bad, and people want to come in and just feet first, quit their job, jump in. If you want to be a rock star and you don't know anything about singing or playing music, you're not going to be like, I'm quitting my job, I'm going on tour. Same kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Like, learn first. If you have somebody in your area that's an eBay seller or something, maybe volunteer your time to say, hey man, can I pack for you? Can I list for you? Get a little network together, but you can't just jump in when you don't know what you're doing. It's super important to learn first, make the mistakes, maybe keep your job for long enough where you have your health insurance and you're steady. You can do it on the side, but it's not something they're going to be like, oh, I'll put 10 hours in a week and then I'll be good. No, just like any other job, you're going to be working really hard, really long hours. Doesn't matter what job it is.
1,000%. So, like Jeannie said, she alluded to it. You're saying the same thing. You got to work hard. You got to work long hours. How, like Jeannie said, like if we aren't like self-motivated, self-going, if we can't problem solve, if we can't figure things out, like if we don't have a manager telling us what to do, how have you been able to stay disciplined enough with your schedule and what needs to be done day in and day out to be able to do this for 15 years?
Well, for me personally, I happen to love it. And that's why I continue year after year. I mean, I have pivoted from different categories. I used to love clothing, but I have to realize what my weaknesses are. And I can't keep up myself with all of, the fads. So that's just not me. And I pivoted. I do jeans because, like you were saying earlier, depending on where you live, I'm in the mid-Atlantic.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happens we have lots and lots of Levi's where I am.
That's right.
The friends that I have that live out west, you can't find that, but you can find all of the hiking gear you want. So, that's been an easy buy for me. And then some other things that I have learned over the years that have sold. Sometimes I don't know about it. I'll throw it up. I may have really priced it too low, and that's okay because I've learned from that. Everything is a learning experience for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for jumping on with us. Hopefully we do this again and I can hear from you again.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. Very good. Great feedback so far. I appreciate everyone for jumping on with the feedback. This has been excellent. If you guys want to jump on, it's a free for all for anybody. 302-048-8962. Password is live, LIVE. You're going to be in the waiting room, so you got to wait your turn. 302-048-8962 is the Zoom room. It's in the chat. Password is live, LIVE. No cussing, no music playing, no TV playing. Be respectful. Be professional. All right, we're going to go next to Twinning. Twinning, over to you. Twinning, over to you.
Hey, can you hear me?
Hey, what's up, Ken?
Hey.
How you doing?
Doing good. I've been a reseller for about 12 years now. And I really think that during the pandemic, it basically, people had more time to basically learn. I want to say they got to blossom more into what they loved. They got to feel more of what they love. They got to have time to themselves. They got to see what they really liked, and sellers ended up being able to provide, right? So I feel like the biggest thing was I come from a psychology history perspective where I'm saying that it was it was easier during the pandemic because a lot more people were able to and basically enjoy what they love. And at once people kind of sellers started, once everything kind of faded out, the COVID faded out, the free money faded out, everything, and people kind of had to get back into perspective of what they were able to do, and what they had to do. I feel like things got a little bit harder also as I'm sorry, I have a couple disabilities, so
No, you're doing great, man. This is excellent. Go ahead.
There's I do apologize.
You're doing great. You're doing great. You're doing great. Finish the thought.
Yeah, so I feel like once COVID started, COVID ended and such, and there was a lot more people that they kind of figured out, okay, so this was working for some people, this was working for some people, and this was working for some people. And things were just kind of selling. They're on a river flow of no matter kind of what you were listing, stuff was still kind of selling as it would go. And I think once people had to get back to work, and I think just things started just they kind of lost that touch. And even these sellers, we would all kind of look at our product and be like, huh. So it stopped selling. Things started coming to a halt because this miraculous feeling, like kind of from a childhood perspective, where kids, they get to enjoy what they love, they get to feel what they love, they get to enjoy and have that time, and then they start to grow up and they don't get to see that. So
Absolutely. Very, very, very good. Thank you, Twinning, for jumping in. I appreciate that. Good input by Twinning. Way to go. Thank you, sir. All right, next one. The room number is, anyone can call in anywhere in the entire world, 302-048-8962. No cussing. Be respectful. Be professional. Don't smut up my channel. Password live, LIVE, all lowercase. I don't know these people. If they have past transgressions or if they're the biggest scammers in the world, I got nothing to do with that. I'm just getting a pulse of the community. Whoever jumps on, jumps on. Who's next? Who's next? Pedro. Pedro, are you out there? Pedro, my man, Pedro. What's happening?
What's going on? What's going on?
Good. How are you, man? Everything good?
Everything good, man. Can't complain. Weather feels good. Loving the stream and whatnot. Saw you had this Zoom meeting open, so I want to go ahead and ask you a question.
So, you've been around for a while. You've been hitting the street, boots on the ground for a while.
Yes, yes, yes.
You've seen a lot of people come and go.
Of course.
You keep it real. Keep it real enough for my channel.
All right.
Not too real. Not all the way real. Keep it real enough for the channel. Why so many people busting out?
Why are so many quitting? Dang, that's a lot. Without keeping it too real, that is a hard question, honestly. But I definitely do see a big population of the reseller community dropping off and not selling the way they were during COVID peak sales and peak era. I'm not sure why though. It could be the economy. I don't know if that's a little too touchy. It could be the
economy. People are tight. People don't have extra money or discretional income to spend. That definitely plays a role in it.
Yeah, that could be a thing. I feel like accessibility as well. Like, for example, the Google Lens app. I didn't even know how good it was. I had it deleted for years, and I just re-downloaded it. And I'm noticing you could take a photo. It shows you exactly what the item is, how much it sells for, name, year.
Yeah, it's crazy now.
Let
me ask you this. In the last 2 years, Google Lens has been leaps and bounds better than it was. Like 2 years ago, it sucked.
Yeah,
now it's awesome. Now it's awesome. What happens in 5 years? We're all out of business then, right? We're going to be doing this call and saying, why are all of us out of business?
At the way that technology is moving, it's sad to say, but I don't even want to say it, knock on wood, but yeah, the way they're moving, the way it seems so automated and easy to them. I wouldn't not see it in the future. You know what I mean? I don't doubt it. It's the way they're moving is crazy. They have full descriptions on items. You could take a photo of a quarter of a t-shirt or a smidget of a furniture piece, and it'll tell you exactly what year it is, how much it sells for, whatnot. So I don't know.
So let me ask you this. Might be a touchy subject.
What's up?
The consistent monster has bitten you a time or two.
Of course.
Does that play a big role in why a lot of resellers are busting out?
Elaborate on that. What do you mean, like time itself?
Not getting their work done, not getting their listings up, not having a dedicated schedule. The consistently doing our work every single day monster is biting a lot of people.
Yeah, 100%. It's a big toll to take. I mean, it seems like easy, I guess, the first couple of days when you have it down, but realizing that it's a nonstop grind in a sense. You know, you gotta make sure you have the inventory, you gotta make sure you're listing, you gotta make sure everything's up to par. If you slack on any department, you know, you're losing money, you're losing potential customers, and we don't work for free, right? So
yeah, it's a lot.
It's definitely a lot.
So, you know, you're a little bit younger. You hang out with a little bit of a younger crowd. What is the younger crowd's most difficult part to handle running a reselling business? You see a lot of people love sourcing, going to the bins.
Yeah.
And then they love sourcing, going to the bins. And then they love sourcing, going to the bins. But that other part, that gets forgotten a lot.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's crazy because I would say 6, 7, 8 years ago, like resellers were reselling. They were buying items to sell them and whatnot. In this day and age, it's weird because there are more thrifters than ever in my own areas, in my spots, and I'm sure in every other area and around across the world. So it's weird because I'm seeing so many new thrifters and so many people are so like aware as to what to buy and they're so knowledgeable in this stuff, but I don't think they're putting in that back end work that I think they're just buying. I don't know what it is, whether it's cool, whether it's nice to post on Instagram or TikTok to get some views. I don't see it. I don't want to talk for other people, you know what I mean?
No, I hear you. But like, how does that impact you as someone that's trying to really go and do this and find good items? Because like, dude, I've known you for a long time. We'll keep it real. I've known you for a long time.
Yeah.
10 years ago, you can go to XYZ place and get what you could get, where if you go there now, you don't get the same items.
Oh, no, not at all. And 10 years ago, those items that you were getting ample amounts of, you know, pieces of whatever said item, nowadays you'll be lucky to get one, or seeing one of them would be, you know, like a diamond in the rough, or
right.
I mean, so it's tanked, honestly. I don't like thinking about that, but the reality is, yeah, like this game, specifically, you know, the game that we're in, the clothing game, it's night and day compared to what it used to be. And it's hard. It's way harder. It's way harder in every aspect. Prices are lower on the selling aspect. You know, everyone knows what the items are, so it's not, you know, $1,000 items anymore. $600 shirts, jackets, and whatnot. A lot more competition. So you got more people buying the stuff that they would have never bought 2 weeks ago, 3 months ago, 2 years ago, and of course the companies, the businesses, Salvation, Goodwill, all these other thrift stores, they're getting hip to all these new trends. And a lot of these brands, they're sabotaging themselves. They see that we're interested in a shirt from the 90s that they created, and then they'll try reproducing that, and they'll, you know, overdo it by 10 times, 20 times, and then the item's no longer valuable. Then you got a million Thrasher shirts or a whole bunch of striped Guess t-shirts that nobody wants anymore. So
talk to him. You're spitting game right now, my man. So is it, you know, especially the last 5 years or so, is it, and in the chat, answer yes or no, is it death by 1,000 cuts?
Man, damn. Yeah. That's a crazy way of thinking about it. But yeah, that's how I would put it.
Like, post office is going up. It's getting harder to find stuff. The prices are higher. The prices are lower. The fees are going up. Gas is more. Electricity is more. Grocery store is more. Death by 1,000 cuts, right?
Yes, literally. Not even kidding. It's literally Death by a thousand cuts. Every aspect, thrift stores, post office. You're right. Gas, everything. Insurance is up. Everything.
Right.
Literally everything.
Right.
It's
Well,
crazy way to
hey,
think about it.
thank you for hopping on. Look, hit me up. Let's set something in concrete, not loosey goosey. Let's set something in concrete and make it happen.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I appreciate the stream, man. I'm looking forward to staying here to the end. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, my man. All right, very good. That young guy in the game, he's been in the game for a long time. Good guy. I'm gonna tell you this. 9 out of 10 people that I met in this game are complete pieces of garbage. That guy right there, he's a good dude. I can co-sign that guy. He's a good dude. All right, if you want to jump on, there is a waiting room. If you have a name like iPhone, I don't know. It's a little too sketchy. This is something new. I need to see a real name. That'll be a little bit more helpful. The Zoom room is 302-048-8962. Password is live, LIVE. Now, make sure we're coming up over an hour, so I don't know if I can get everybody, but I want to get as many people as possible. I think we've had a great conversation. Zoom room, anyone can dial in wherever you're from, anywhere around the world. No cussing, be professional, be respectful, no music, no TV. 302-048-8962, password live, LIVE. Freddie, what is your name on the chat? I don't see you over here. Let's go with we'll go with Matt. Freddie, what's your name in the chat? We'll go with Matt Lemon. Matt Lemon Baker. Matt Lemon Baker. What's up, Matt?
There we go.
What's happening, my man?
Now. What's up, my man? How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Great.
Question of the day. Why are so many COVID era resellers quitting?
I think like we were just talking about, people are definitely holding their pennies a lot more. I've kind of had to pivot. You know, I do video games, and I've noticed that the bigger sellers that bring up your ASP, you kind of need to start getting more items in that $40-$50 range rather than that $200, $300, $400, because they will sell, of course, you know, even if they have high sell-through rate, but they might take 4 or 5 months, and you might see 2 of them sell in 1 month and maybe only 1 of them sell in this 1 month. So I've noticed having to kind of diversify the video games that I have, as far as like certain brackets of prices that are more attainable for the economy. And I think a huge problem too is I noticed I was also in sales in like the car business as well. I used to be in management, and I notice it with resellers, just like with your typical car salespeople, is they always want to reinvent the wheel. You know, we always talk about how you need to make your business work for you, but there are still fundamental rules and, you know, like following your metrics, et cetera, that people just kind of, I'm going to do it my way. There's just a consistency that not only do you need to list, but you need to consistently follow some of these very important things, like, you know, paying attention to sell through rate, constantly, you know, adjusting your sell price to make sure that you hit your metrics while you're culling all of these other things. It's just, I don't think a lot of people do that kind of work. And they just think that suddenly they're just going to be the reseller without figuring out the rules, and they're going to become tech and sports without building consistency and doing this hard work. And I think it's just human nature. I think that has a lot to do with a lot of people quitting, is because they're just trying to reinvent things that they shouldn't.
So let me ask you this, and you made a great point. You know, the lowest hanging fruit is pretty dangerous to build a business on, whether it's clothing, video games, whatever. That lowest hanging fruit has the lowest barrier to entry. Everyone has the most access to it. That stuff's going to get driven to the ground. You know, classic supply and demand. As more supply comes on, you know, yada yada. So you said, hey, now we got to step it up, and we got to focus on kind of that next tier, $40, $50, $60 items.
Yeah.
Great to say. How do we go out and do it?
That, from what I've been learning, is just hammering research and product knowledge, which I think a lot of people need to focus on. Like, I used to be deathly afraid of going into certain stores. Like, there's no way you can't go in there and source. They're on their shit.
That's
you know,
a great point.
they're learning about it, you know, or they've already learned, you know, they've been doing this for 15, 20 years, however long that store. that's actually false. I'm actually learning that our job as resellers is to learn so well that you catch somebody else not doing their job, and that's
right.
essentially our job.
That's
And
right. Whether it be the thrift store, the flea market, a game
correct.
store, a boutique store.
Yeah.
When I went to New York City, I had a little bit of that hesitation, like, oh, this is New York City. They're going to be priced high, yada, yada. Like I went to some
Yeah.
thrift stores where like
Yeah.
they are curated boutiques, but I went there and found items that they didn't know about that was worth $200 or $300 because I
Mhm.
knew and they didn't.
Mhm.
And that stuff, the more that we can do that, that's where we hit our home runs. That's where we hit our grand slams.
Correct. So it's really just learning, and I think people just need to spend as much time as possible doing that. You know, I do it every week, everything that I source, even though I know the sell-through rate and the price of everything, I still, for discipline wise, especially because I know Q4 and I don't want to miss out on money, but every single time that I source things every week, for 2 days when I do my inventory, I make sure that I go through every sell-through rate. So I'm not dropping the ball. So I'm like, oh, that's going in a lot. That doesn't sell anymore. I don't want any of this. So,
Nice.
it's like pre-calling before it even hits the store.
Nah. And what do you do with the pre-call stuff? Because we got to monetize that or get our original investment back. What's the plan for that?
I liquidate it. I
Okay.
I just put them into giant lots, and I'm like, great. Even though I don't want to, I know also from being in the car business with inventory that sunken cost fallacy is just, you have to emotionally just let that go, where it's like, this is crap. Just get $1 for each game, whatever. Just sell it, move on. Just, you don't want it. It's a waste of time, which equals more money out of your business. So just get rid of it, move on. So it's
Excellent. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for jumping on. Thank you, sir. Very good. All right. Very good. Very good. Good input so far from everybody. Let's see who's on next. Let's get Freddie on. Freddie on live. What's happening, Freddie? What's happening, Freddie? Look, guys, we got to beat a like record here, man. We are in uncharted territory. I'm risking my entire YouTube channel by having these people that I don't know what they're going to say. We got to beat the like record. The like record, thumbs up, is 850 likes. We got to beat the thumbs up record. Freddie, are you out there? You got to unmute for me. Freddie, what's happening?
What's up, Hefe?
What's going on? How you doing?
Living the dream.
That's it. So why are so many COVID era resellers clocking out?
For the things we talked about last week, I believe they're buying stuff that it's not desirable, and they don't list it at a consistent pace, and they pay too much money for it.
So when did you start doing this?
3 years ago.
So money was raining from the sky.
That was the golden age of reselling. Remember that?
That's right. And in the beginning, and you've come a long way in these 3 years.
Yeah.
What has changed? Do you believe the Freddie of that year would still be in business now if you didn't make the changes that you've made?
100% not.
So what did you have to change in order? Tell us who Freddie of back then was.
A know-it-all that thought anything that that's shown on the rack was something to pick up. I learned the hard way that I got to do the research. I got to acquire the knowledge. And once I laughed the other day, we picked up a shot jacket. I would never ever know what that was if it wasn't for you. And that's something we turned $10 into $300 in 2 minutes.
And Freddie, were you the first one that laid eyes on that jacket?
No, it was there the whole day. It was an afternoon.
It was there the whole day, right? But
yeah.
So many people have passed by it, and it was a $300 bill for you.
Yep.
All right. So the Freddie of yesterday and the Freddie of today, who is Freddie of today inside of his business?
Just grinding away, like you gotta I think you have to love to photograph, you have to love to list, you love the boring part, to be able not do, like you said, just going out there shopping. Anybody can do that, but it's the grind, 24/7, doing it, and then results will follow. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
That's right. Yep.
Absolutely.
So all right, one word of advice to people that started when you didn't turn that corner like you did. One word of advice to someone that's ready to clock out.
Go back to the draw. Just do the research. Like you said something the other day in the group. It's like, by the time everybody's looking at their, doing their Google Lens or doing their Terapeak or whatever, you're already on to the next store. You gotta come there equipped with the knowledge. If you have like you always preach, the knowledge is everything. If you just educate yourself on what you're doing and just be disciplined and just walking, it's okay to come home with nothing, rather than, because you're digging the hole deeper. But like, if you research a thing, if you take photos of a thing just to find out that it's not selling for you, you're just doing yourself a disfavor. So sometimes it's good to leave with nothing, and just go to one more store. That's what I take out of the whole thing.
Absolutely. Thanks, Freddie.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Very good. Well said by Freddie. Well said. Very, very, very good. All right. If you guys want to participate, we'll get a couple more people on the line. Then we got to get up out of here because I want to respect everybody's time. If you want to get on the line, 302-048-8962, password LIVE. No cussing, no acting a fool, no music. I don't know any of these people. If they have any past transgressions or the world's biggest scammer, I'm not co-signing anybody. What I am trying to do is get a pulse on the community. We'll go with Hutch. Hutch, over to you. You gotta let him log in for a second. Hutch, gotta let him log in. Hutch. Takes a second for him to get in. Hutch. All right, he's here. Hutch, are you out there? Come on. Hutch.
What's going on, my guy?
What's going on? Hey, how you doing? Thank you for being so patient. There's been a lot of people on the line. What's happening?
Not much, brother. Doing a little listing.
Oh, very good. All right. So why are so many COVID era resellers busting out and quitting?
Personally, I guess consistency would be a strong one. And in my case, it was just I was in the game of liquidation a lot more beforehand, and during COVID, there was definitely a lot more money chasing less goods, and it was just a bunch of junk is what you get. So just buying the right product at the right price, right?
So is it fair to say you've had to get better since those days?
Oh, for sure. But I still got a debt pile problem.
So all that is the death pile. So what's the plan for all that stuff? You can't have all that stuff and be in business forever.
Just keep listing. I don't know. I'm waiting for that reseller rescue, I guess.
One bite at a time, right? Just like you eat an elephant, one bite at a time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, very good. So all right, if you can give one piece of advice to folks out there, aside don't accumulate a death pile that large, what would it be?
Listen to this man right here. You're doing the right thing, I guess. Keep on keeping on, brother.
That's right. Keep on keeping on. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
See ya. All right, very good. Very good. When we went to New York City, my wife and I, someone hit us up on Instagram and we went over to their place and they had a death pile. And I said, look, I'm on vacation. I will list this death pile before I go home. And then she said, what if we run it on Whatnot? And I said, okay, let's run it on Whatnot. So her and we did a little Whatnot show in about 3 or 4 hours. She ended up making about $3,000. So like, if I'm in the vicinity of a death pile, we're getting it listed. So don't come around me if you have a death pile and you don't want to get the work done. All right. JC, logging in. JC logging in on the horn. Come on, JC. JC, you're here. Come on. Come on, JC. Here you are, JC. What's happening?
Yo, what's up?
Yo, long time no see. I've been talking to you on Instagram for many years.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think you remembered me.
No, I remember everybody. So how you doing? So why are most COVID era resellers busting out and quitting?
Oh, I mean, I don't know what's been said before I went on, but I remember because I was selling in 2016, and when it came to 2020 lockdown, it was like literally life on easy mode. So I could just imagine. I've seen so many in the UK. See so many ads of people who've like, yeah, sell on Amazon and all this, and they're showing the sales, and they started like 3, 4 years ago. It's literally like when, yeah, you could literally just take something out of your like dirty drawer and it would sell the same.
So
But
now that those times are behind us, what are you doing now to stay relevant and stay in business?
yeah, for me, well, I wasn't doing eBay at all. I was just purely Amazon up until basically like last year, like start of this year, end of last year. And yeah, I'm just like what's funny for me because I just usually just scan stuff, so I don't pay attention to whatever like books or
Sure.
anything like titles.
Sure.
And actually, I'm enjoying eBay because I'm actually learning now, doing the research of specific titles or looking out for certain things, and I've realized that there's quirks to items that everyone just looks over, even over here like charity shops that research books and things. I've found that they miss out on a lot of stuff because there's details in everything that you're selling. So it's just doing the research. And yeah, the stuff that was easy to sell, even in books like textbooks now. I looked at so on Amazon they have like Keeper that shows how many sellers are on this listing.
Yep.
And I've looked at the complete history of some textbooks that I used to like buy over the years, and the sellers have like there's sellers on listings where it's like 50 to 70 sellers. The graph is ridiculously high of the amount of sellers that jumped on it. And I'm just like, but well, it's easy stuff. So it's now going into the more, I don't know, nuanced things, the more it's hard to explain, but
No,
just
you're,
ones where
you're
you have to
100% right.
actually research.
Yeah.
And then with those, the ASP is higher because I found like all those books, the price has tanked, or it's the ASP maybe was £40. Now it's 20 or 15. But then the ones which are obviously more niche and more, I say quirky, but
right.
those ones, it's like the ASP is like £40, or it's back to where I feel like, oh yeah, this is what it used to be like when before all the craziness.
Sure. Absolutely right. Excellent. Thank you, JC, for stopping by. Absolutely right. He's absolutely right. And Matt said the same thing. Like that kind of low-hanging fruit is the things that we have to be careful of, because that low-hanging fruit of yesterday is very saturated, non-existing profit of today. So if we are looking for profit, we need to go that step higher where that does have that nuance, and we can create those separators using the keywords that we have acquired due to the research to separate ourselves from everybody else. Carl, how are you doing, my friend? We need to go that step
Very good,
higher
Tech.
where that
Very
does
good.
have, mute me on there, and we can create those separators using mute me on your computer. Ready? All right, unmute again, Carl. Unmute. Unmute, Carl.
Got you.
All right, all right, I'm off mute. All right, very good. Carl, how you doing, sir? You have been selling or reselling in some way, shape, or form for
42
40
years.
years.
42 years, 1983.
42 years. Why are so many COVID era resellers quitting? All right, all right, I'm off mute. All right, very good. Carl, how you doing, sir? You have been Carl, you still have me on. You got to mute me on YouTube. Form
Yeah,
for
42
40
years.
years. Mute me on YouTube, Carl. It's all right. We'll give Carl a second.
Here we go. Let's try it now.
On YouTube, you have to mute the YouTube.
Yeah. Not working, Tech. Got too many things going here.
Okay. All right. I'm going to let you speak. Why are so many COVID era resellers busting out? And I'll remain quiet.
Let's try it now.
On YouTube, you have to mute the YouTube. All right, we'll come back to Carl in a moment. All right. Carl, on the YouTube browser, mute the video. And then give me the thumbs up when you're ready. So a lot of great points today. A lot of people sharing a lot of great points. And this is, or just close out the YouTube screen in general. Just close out the screen because I really, really, really want to get to Carl. Just exit out the YouTube all and just keep on the Zoom and that's it. All right, you got it? Unmute. And then unmute the Zoom and let's rock and roll, sir.
How about now?
Should be good. Did you close us out?
I guess so.
Excellent. Very good. Carl, you have 42 years in the reselling game in one way, shape, or form. You started flea markets, licensed auctioneer, sell online. The topic for today, why are so many COVID era resellers quitting?
I don't think people have lived through economic cycles like I have over 42 years. I remember when I started, mortgage rates were 16%. It was, and yet people were buying houses. There's been wars. By the way, I wanted to say something about when you come on the YouTube thing and you have a chance to click, do this like I did yesterday. I voted early. Click on the thumbs up for tech
That's
right away.
Give us a thumbs up. That's right.
Vote early.
So Carl,
I
go
think
ahead.
what it is to tech right now is there's such an uncertainty, especially in this country. You know, in 2 weeks we're gonna choose a president again. I've got to choose 13 presidents. I saw a group of people, my neighbors, the people that live in my town. I think they're fed up with Washington as a whole. And so what they've decided to do is they decide to clamp back on their money. I've also seen young couples that are just really struggling. But I would say this, I think the thing is people think it's the easiest thing in the world to do. It's a grind. And whether you do eBay, whether you do flea markets like I did, 2,500 of them almost in my life, it's work. It's hard work, but it's consistent. It's buying the right things that customers want time and time and time again, and just finding those things and doing research. If I could say one thing that I think people need to do is to educate themselves. When I started in 1983, there was no internet. There were no smartphones. There weren't even cell phones, let alone a smartphone. I mean, to be able to take a picture of something and just find out everything you want about it and more and how much it's selling for, that was unheard of. But I don't think people educate themselves. And if I can say, and if you're not in Tech's group, and I'm just going to tell you, you are missing it. You are missing the investment of $35 a month for unlimited education all day long in every genre that is possible to sell on, and in different countries too. You're missing it. And if I would have had tech in 1983,
I was born in 84, so there was no way you were having me in 83,
no,
sir.
no, no. So all I got to say is educate yourself and be willing to work hard before you get old and sick, because it's tough. It's really tough. Um, I would just say educate yourself. And you have you can come on this thing on Wednesday night, but to come on this thing in the morning, listening to people talk, listening to show after show, call after call after call on every subject of people that are doing it, 2,500 people that are doing it. Not bozos that are saying, "Hey, I got an idea. Let's end the auction, or let's end the thing and relist it." And that works. And that's their whole game. No,
Yeah.
buy good stuff.
Yeah.
Get rid of stuff. Say goodbye to it. It's just stuff. I think one of the greatest pieces of advice, I had a friend who I do flea markets with, and I said, how can you sell your postcards for 50 cents? He said, are there not auctions in Pennsylvania that you can go to every day and buy more postcards? Yeah. Well, guess what? That's what I do every day. And I can sell them for 50 cents and make a great living. And he had people all over his stand. When he opened up, it was it was like uh, flies on manure. It was unbelievable to watch. So
So
educate.
Carl, you are a man of a certain age. You've been through many cycles, good and bad. In the bad times, the good times come. After the good times, the bad times come. It's just how the world works. Right now, we're in a tough time, as Pedro talked about a little bit earlier. Resellers are kind of getting that death by a thousand cuts, where they're getting pushed and pulled in every single direction, and reselling is hard. This is hard to do, like you said. This is work. This is absolute work. So, good times, bad times, there's adages of, when there's blood in the street, that's when we need to work harder. When scared money is there, that's when we need to put our money out. As someone that's seen a lot of ups, a lot of downs, what is your strategy of for your business, making it through to, where this thing kind of bounces back?
I think it comes with what I'm doing right now is I have quite a large death pile that I'm going through. But I'm not looking at October, November, or December. I'm looking to February of 2025. And that's what I'm doing. And get as much cash as you can and have cash so you're ready to buy deals. I sell antiques, collectibles, and that's my major focus. Books. I have delved into clothing in the form of hats, and I was doing really well with hats, and then a tornado hit our bins and gone. When you're paying 28 cents for a hat and selling it for $12, that's great. But now I'm going in Goodwills and I'm seeing hats $6, $7. These are things I would have passed up on at 28 cents. Just get cash. Get cash. Don't 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 get in debt with this business. Always and always do your books. One of the before I even knew there was a tech, and I was part of the other group. I knew there was an accountant in there, and I figured for $35 a month, I could ask an accountant any question. You know how expensive accountants are to ask questions? And you can ask of an accountant. I believe she'll be on tomorrow. You can ask her any business question, and you will get a good solid answer. But have your books up to date. My books are up to date right now, as of this past Tuesday.
Nice.
If I dropped over dead, my wife could just stick a stick in the computer, hand it to my accountant. My business is over. It's all accounted for. There's
Nice.
no worries.
Nice.
But be active in your business with the little things, and great things will happen. So
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Thank you for jumping on with us. I appreciate you so much, Carl. You know that.
I do. And I appreciate you, Tech.
Thank you, sir. Carl, humongous wealth. For 88962 302-048-8962. Password LIVE. We got Jack. Jack,
Hey.
better behave.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Behave. Good. Question of the day. Why are so many COVID era resellers quitting?
If you look back at COVID, those times, you had these Discord groups, you had people going out, flipping pools, flipping masks, flipping all that kind of stuff. It was super, super easy to do. You had tons of money inflating. You had collectible markets, sports cards, basically, like many of the markets in that 10xing, video games, collectibles, just like basically 10xing, going up massively. It was super, super easy to just like go to Target, buy some cards, buy some pools, buy whatever, and just flip it online. And obviously that opportunity kind of disappeared around about 2021, 2022 or so. But I'm really bullish on stuff going forward with it. Like I actually think now is a really, really good time. I feel like this is a great time with the economy, like the S&Ps at all-time highs again. Like I feel like we're doing super, super well. Like technology wise, we continue to improve. It's way better now than it will be in the 90s or so. We have access to smartphones, like technology, all that kind of stuff with it. And even like I'm starting to see like in collectible markets, like some like coming back on it, like a lot of like collectibles going up in value a lot more as well. So I'm really like bullish on it longer term. And I actually think now is a really good time to it. I'm kind of seeing the stuff that I saw like in 2020, like starting back up again with it.
All right. So you've been doing this for a while. You were doing this pre-COVID. You took advantage of the money raining from the sky. Your business did very well. You did over $1 million by yourself. In one of these markets that did see a lot of benefit from the stimulus and money raining from the sky, you still have built a tremendous business. If you were a seller who maybe overextended, maybe the business isn't doing as good as it once was, what would you do today to get this turned around?
So a lot of people took out loans and like really went hard into it. Like they saw some success in 2020. And like I know some people who took out loans, went hard into it, and like it wasn't the same in 2021. Like Christmas 2021 wasn't the same as Christmas 2020, basically.
Right.
And kind of got they took a lot of losses, like expecting kind of the same thing to continue on with it. But as long as you're kind of like buying intelligently, like buying stuff people actually want to sell, or want to buy from you and buy
Very
them at a proper
important.
price,
Very important.
you're going to make money on like this. There's so many opportunities with it, with flea markets, with thrift stores, with book sales, whatever. Like there's just so much opportunity, garage sales, where you can like buy something for $5, flip it for 50. And like this is how I got started with it. You know, like I started with pretty much no money basically, and just like bought stuff like this. And now like most of the inventory comes to me. So, and business is going really well.
All right, I got two more questions for you, and then we'll stick a fork in this.
All right.
What do you think is the biggest opportunity right now for people?
With reselling?
Yes.
It depends on if they're just getting started with it. I think the thing they need to focus on is taking advantage of all the opportunity exists in the US with flea markets, with garage sales, with all that. There's just so much like opportunity to buy stuff super cheap. Like if you have some knowledge about what stuff sells for, it's just so easy to go out to a bunch of garage sales, flea markets, whatever, and buy something for $5, flip it for 50. Like it's just
So not the thrift.
What's that?
Not the thrift.
Well, you know, like there's still opportunities in the thrift stores. I haven't been in a while. Like obviously the prices go up with it, but like I think that the easiest is probably the garage sales and the flea markets. Like thrift stores have gotten a little bit more competitive, but there's still opportunities there, you know.
I agree with that because like the thrift is you walk into the thrift, it's all reliable, you're guaranteed your bread and butter. But are you going to run into on a percent basis $100 profit item, a home run item, a grand slam item at the thrift store versus at the flea market or garage sale on a percent basis? It's not even close. On a percent basis, are you going to go to a thrift store and find a deal that can fundamentally change your business and change your life? It's not at the thrift store. Those deals are at the flea markets, and those deals are in the garage sales.
Yep. When I did it back in the day, I was a bookseller. I scanned books and it was very consistent, but I didn't have like the big home runs usually. The big home runs are all like garage sales for me.
All right, last question. Controversial question, but you're the man for the job. I made a bold prediction for the last 2 or 3 years, and I said Q4 is not coming. You know, that hockey stick trajectory that always happens in Q4. You see the posts on social media. I'm selling so many items I can't keep up. All of my processes are breaking. My living room is full of packages. Is Q4 coming this year?
Q4 is coming depending on what you're in. I think for what I'm in is video games, and it's always been very strong. Expected to be very strong again this year. I think that a lot of people in your group are clothing sellers, and clothing has become very difficult, especially if you're flipping kind of like standard stuff with it. There's a lot of competition from like Shein, Temu, Amazon, all those. So it's become a lot more difficult. So I think that there's always going to be a spike in sales in Q4, but it depends kind of what area you're focusing on, your niche.
Very good.
I expect to have a good Q4.
All right. Good luck in Q4, man.
All right. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you for jumping on, Jack. Guys, this was absolutely amazing. I enjoyed everybody who jumped on today on our inaugural reseller radio program, all the way from Gene Queen, who that's going to be a trivia question one day. She was the first one to jump on. We had a gamut of folks who jumped on, and I appreciate everybody who jumped on, shared their thoughts. Very, very good discussion. Everyone was professional. If you guys want to see this again, put in the chat, maybe put a thumbs up if you want to see this again. If you don't want to see it again, put a thumbs down. Up to you if you want to go back to the old format where I just rock and roll and do 1,000 questions in a straight line. Tell me what you want to see. Thumbs up in the chat, thumbs down in the chat. If you have some questions, post it in the comments after I knock out every single question in the comments when they do come. So if you want to see more, thumbs up in the chat. If you want to see less of this kind of format and just me rock and roll undefeated, thumbs down in the chat. So thank you, everybody. I apologize I couldn't get to everyone that was in the waiting room, but I'm going to catch you guys next time. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, everyone who Zoomed in. We had about 20 people. So shout out to those guys. Thank you very much. As always, be great. Thank you.